Okay, I'm out here at the range this afternoon to do a little testing on a new muzzleloader action that I have designed and built. This action is designed to replace the Remington 700 ML as well as the Savage 10 ML. Both of these are not considered a regular firearm because you can't put a normal barrel on it for a centerfire rifle. And this action is also designed just to be for muzzleloaders because it has no locking lugs. It has a Remington 700 footprint, which means you can use Remington 700 stocks and Remington 700 triggers on this rifle. Could be threaded for the Savage barrel threads. This one's threaded for the Remington barrel threads. So what we're going to do is we're going to load it up and shoot a few rounds through it. I have been using QuickLoad to predict some pressures with my muzzle loaders, and I get a printout here that gives you, with a certain grain bullet, 300 grain bullet, we're going to use 110 grains of accurate 4064 powder. The efficiency is about 99.5%, almost all the powder is burned. And then our pressure is right around 44,000 psi, but the velocity is about 2,930 on this prediction with this length barrel. So we're trying to get as high velocity as we can get with as low a pressure as we can get. So we're going to try to shoot a couple groups with that today, see what happens. I've got a camera set up on our target at 300 yards, and I've also got a camera set up on the chronograph. We may have some sun coming in here, may cause some glare. I don't know. We'll just have to see how that goes. I'm going to start by loading the rifle. I have to use a drop tube, make sure it goes down through the muzzle. And I have measured out 110 grains of accurate 4064 powder. I'm going to bump the rifle a little bit, make sure the powder goes down. And in here I have a 300 grain Parker BE, which has a very thin jacket. It's only about 15 thousandths of an inch thick. If you drop this bullet, it will bend it. And it's a great bullet to size for a smokeless muzzleloader because we've got it sized down to about 0.450 and a half or so. So it will just barely go down the barrel. Let's see if we can get it down here. We want it to be snug, but we have to be able to get it down. Okay, that was just about perfect. Okay, here I have my large rifle Magnum primer module I bought from Luke at Arrowhead. I could make these, but it's a whole lot easier to get them from Luke because he's got CNC equipment. He can make them a lot faster and more efficiently than I can. The breech plug in this gun is also the type made by Arrowhead for the Remington 700 ML. It has a carbide bushing in it. We'll load this in there. I'll show you this bolt. This bolt has a built-in slot for the primer module, so it just goes right in there like that. Okay, it's on safe. Let's see what happens. I'm going to try to load on this steel AR-500 target. It's 18 by 24. We'll probably try that with our first shot. Let's just see where we're going to hit. Here we go. Need a little bit of elevation here. That's pretty close. I'm gonna hold dead on, try to get the level straight on my scope. Here we go. 110 grains. Accurate 40-64. It's a 300 grain bullet. 300 yards. Okay, I missed the whole thing, so I must have shot high or shot left or shot something. That good velocity number though, it says 2944 for our velocity. All right, let me load up again and see if we can figure out, we may have shot high. So I'm gonna try again and we'll see what happens. Primer module looks fine, so we know our pressure is okay. All right. $110 grains of 40-64. .300 grain Parker BE. That's a perfect fit. Not too tight, not too loose. Okay, we're on safe. So I'm going to load our large rifle Magnum primer module. Let's see what happens this time. I'll tell you what, I'm going to aim a little bit higher. I think I may have set this rifle up differently than my other one, so I'm going to probably hold the crosshairs about the top of the target here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. This is real world shooting here. Things don't always happen like you expect. I tell you what, I'm going to put the 300 hash mark right in the middle and we'll see what happens. Here we go. That's a little bit better. I had forgotten where I had my elevation set up, I guess. Our velocity says 2957. I was holding right about here, so we're within a few inches of where I was holding. That's what's supposed to happen every time. Primer module looks good. All right, I'm safe. Let's try it again. Helps if you hold the rifle at the right place. Sometimes these errors come from that thing between your ears. All right, here we go. We got 110, 40-64. .300 grain Parker bullet. loads just right. Primer module and a new bolt for the new action. I'm safe. Here we go. What I did last time is I held the 300 hash mark right here, so I'm going to do the same thing again. Let's see if we hit close to the same spot, in the same area anyway. Okay, here we go. Level looks good. We're holding the right spot, I hope. Okay, in the same area. Shooting just a little bit high, but it's like we have about a deer MOA 2962, so our velocity variation's not been that much. That one was just a little bit faster. Let's fire another one, see what happens. This is a Douglas 1 in 22 Chrome Moly barrel. Started out as a big fat blank, and I turned it down just to see what I could do with it. And shooting pretty well right now with this load. .110 4064. Barrel's getting just a little bit warm. Okay, here goes our 300 grain Parker bullet. Just right. Okay, this is our third shot. Let's see what happens. Alright. 3 shots at 300 yards. It's our new muzzleloader action. Here we go. Trying to hold the same spot. Holding it level. Here we go. Third shot in the group. Okay, it looks like it hit my last shot. Looks like that spot got a little bit bigger. 2970, a little bit faster. Looks like the first one was right here, and maybe 5 or 6 inches to the left. We've got one on top of the other one. I tell you what, I got one more vial of powder here, and I got one more bullet in here. Let's go ahead and see what it'll do. Like to check my primer module sometimes, see if we got too much pressure. Everything looks good. Okay, here we go. Let's put one more in that group, see what happens. Maybe we'll get lucky. 110. Okay, these bullets were sized with a sizer I got from Jeff Hankins. Seems like it was about 160 bucks. Works real good. Very consistent sizing. Okay, the shank diameter on this barrel is 1 1/8 inches, and I used a Savage type barrel nut on it so I can adjust it for several different actions that I had. So that's the 1 1/8 inch Savage barrel nut. So it's threaded for the Savage up here, but back here this one's threaded for the Remington 700. Two different threads. Third shot. Let's see where this one goes. Our last shot was 2970. That's almost 3,000 feet a second. Let's see what happens on the target this time. See if the shooter can do his job. Here we go. A little bit of wind today also. Okay, looks like that one maybe went just a little bit to the right, maybe. Got one big blob down there. That's what we call a deer MOA. If you had this gun correctly set up, you could easily kill a deer at 300 yards with that load. Got a muzzle velocity of 2978. So we got good velocity, good accuracy with a muzzle loader. This rifle is not classified as a normal firearm. In most states, you don't have to have the federal paperwork that you would with a normal rifle, because this is classified as a muzzle loader because it has no locking lugs. It actually locks on 2 pins that are inside this action. So that's the conclusion of our test. We're going to go down and check our target with the ruler, and we'll see what we had on our target. Look like we got pretty good accuracy, good velocity with a fairly low pressure. QuickLoad had calculated only about 44,000 psi. That's what we're looking for. Okay, here we are at the 300-yard target. It's 18 inches wide and 2 feet tall. Let's see what kind of group we got. These are 3 shots we had on the target. The first one I think I didn't hold right, and I think I shot low. Okay, looking at where these little dimples are in the metal, it looks like our group is about 3 3/4 inches, something like that. We've got just a little bit of wind today, but we're still close to a 1 MOA group at 300 yards. Testing the new muzzleloader action I developed to replace the Remington 700 ML and the Savage 10 ML. Both those actions are not available anymore. So I'm trying to develop something that we could use to replace them. It does not have locking lugs, so it's still classified as a muzzleloader.